Premiering at the 2023 South by Southwest Film Festival, Self-Reliance is the directorial debut from Jake Johnson, who also writes and stars in this one, about a man who's offered $1 million to play a game in which hunters try to kill him, but he thinks he has the perfect loophole. They can't go for him if he's... Oh, they can only go for him when he's alone. So if he can find someone to be with him for the entire month, he gets the $1 million. Really fun, high concept comedy. I just think I love a film that just starts you off with this big idea and explores it for all the silliness. I gotta be honest in that this one won me over from like one of the first moments in the film when the limo pulls up. I mean, it just like, it immediately comes in with very funny jokes, kind of like a bit off kilter, a bit not what you're expecting, but it's all really held together by Jake Johnson, who is so charming and fun, riding the line between like sanity and like genius. I don't know. It's just like, you can never really tell how attached to reality he is. And it's so fun to watch. I had a great time with it. I think you liked it a lot as well.
This is not the movie I laughed at the most. It's the movie it's 89 minutes. I laughed consistently. There was no drought in this movie. It was he had spoken about this being a balance of tones that he felt was going to be the hardest thing to pitch and even more so execute when he's writer, director, and acting in it. I think he got it. This is one where in rewatches, we're going to be picking up a lot of little subtleties that he does in this movie. There's a through line as well with a little bit of the lore that's going on in here, because it's not just him competing in this, if you want to call it. It's also the fact that nobody believes in him. Nobody believes him. So he's out there trying to like not get killed, but it's all happening in the shadows, which makes for some of the funniest sequences. It's also had no business being shot so interestingly in these like, not even fisheye, but almost like the ones from Riley.
Slightly wide angle,
super wide angle that creates some eeriness when you don't know if he's being watched, but that eeriness also causes it to be extra funny.
Right, like it's got this, it's very funny, but there is this thrilling nature to it because it is kind of like the game, sort of.
No, dude, it's the game.
I mean, it's very closely modeled. He said like Jacob's Ladder, but funny.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah, but like it's got that thrillingness of a film like the game, but it's also got this like, disconnected, like, is this reality thing going on? I just think there's a lot of really interesting things happening here. What did you think about Self-Reliance?
Pretty much the same. Just that whole idea where these things happening in the shadow and no one believing him. This one time, a bat attacked me in my home. Like it had come in. Yeah. But no, it's like I came home from work. I was like still living with my parents. I was like like a high schooler. And then suddenly I'm like screaming because there's this bat just swooping at my face. So my parents wake up and I keep being like, there's a bat. And then they're looking and then they turn around and it swoops at my head again. And I'm like, there's a bat. And my mom's like, are you on drugs? And I'm like, yeah, I came back from my fucking night job and I'm doing drugs in the living room alone.
Can you get this bat though?
Yeah, so finally they see the bat because it like, I'm like, the cat fucking sees the bat. The cat sees the bat. But it's like that. It's one of those things that like these things keep happening and he's all like, there's a ninja in the back. Nobody believes it. And you understand why no one would believe it because even you as the audience member start thinking, is any of this actually happening? You're like, and they hold that the whole way through. Because then even like the one person that's supposed to be like not to spoil it, but either way.
They do a really interesting thing in that like they'll set up certain people and you think it's going to go in one direction and then the way that they will then turn the plot, it makes sense if you think about the actions, right? Yeah. And like you mentioned the rewatch thing. I think it is going to hold up on the rewatch when you are able to kind of know some of the answers that they don't give you at the onset and see how that affects the performances. It's really fun. I do think it kind of like runs out of steam a little bit. Like I feel like there was maybe one more thing, one more twist, one more shoe to drop that would have helped the ending feel more conclusive.
Yeah.
That's interesting because I think it's too definitive of an ending. And I wonder if the movies that he was talking about not making it definitive would have made it linger in your mind a little bit more. But it seems like he definitely wanted, for the people who complain about, oh, there's no ending, you will get it here. Yeah. And surprisingly, I tend to be one of those people. And I would have liked it to be a little bit more open-ended.
I know, it wasn't actually that satisfying because I'm like, you do all that, and now I don't feel as satisfied anymore.
And I don't want to say I wasn't satisfied, but I wasn't satisfied. There was something about actually wrapping it up that made me.
It's what's stopping it from going to a 4 to a 4.5 star for me.
It's such a messy movie for
We liked it.
duration.
But I loved it, yeah.
And then the ending's a bit clean.
Yeah.
Best way to put it.
Yeah. And that's not a non-recommendation of the movie, which is a wild, fun time.
It's an easy recommend because
with
it's
great
unique.
actors.
It's one of the easiest. Yeah, like I said,
it feels unique. It feels good.
it's the one I laughed in consistently the most, and that's because of this cast. Okay.
The first one on IMDb spoils a huge thing, so don't look it up on IMDb.
Yeah, don't look at the screen. Just the way that he's able to bounce off of his family, especially his sister and her husband, is just
Yes.
balls to the wall funny. There are interactions between them that I felt like they were improvising and making each other laugh. It feels like in those moments in SNL when someone's cracking and that's what actually makes the sketch funnier.
Right. Well, so Jake Johnson is a Joe Swanberg guy. They've worked together on a lot. They've co-written a lot, and that looseness, that kind of improvisatory nature, it does feel like he's taking some of that. Even though, like, I don't think it's all improv or anything. There's just that.
But it works
Yeah.
because the premise is so goofy. You can't tell if they're laughing on set or if they're laughing at him.
Yeah, exactly.
Stephen Littles is that actor that plays the brother-in-law who's absolutely hilarious. I think we all also
No, he's Charlie Senior. Daryl J. Johnson. It's Malcolm.
Oh,
we don't have the sister's name though, but Mary Holland.
Mary Holland and
Mary
Emily
Holland
Hampshire were the
was
two sisters.
So funny.
I think
Mary-
Emily Hampshire was the one that we were talking about.
Emily Hampshire's the one from Schitt's
Hampshire
Creek.
is in like a dozen things at South by.
I know.
She's trying to compete for that queen spot as well.
Yeah.
She's in Slip, Bloody Health, Self-Reliance, and we haven't even seen Appendage. So shout out her because she was she was really funny in just certain reactions. She's the only one who doesn't believe him, but just wants to see him go
She wants
crazy.
to do. She's like, I'm here for the ride, and you got to keep going.
But Daryl J. Johnson as Malcolm had the most
Yes,
out of
Daryl.
pocket
Okay,
scene.
there we go.
Yeah.
So the funniest laugh for me was
Absurd.
So good though.
it's so
It's
funny.
like, yeah, no, we're not gonna do it, but I don't want to.
You
But
wish
we're
you had an
gonna.
in-law like this man. I
Yes.
could tell you that much right
Yes.
there. But no, everyone fires on all cylinder. And yeah, I know there's a lot of spoilers on IMDb because they give you a lot of interesting cameos, guest appearances and such. But yeah, everyone hits.
Yeah, no, it's funny.
Really fun time. I'd highly recommend it, especially if you are like a Jake Johnson fan, a high concept comedy fan.
Anna
Lonely
Kendrick,
Island.
really
Kendrick,
good.
very
She
good
was
at
really
it.
good in this.
Produced by
yeah.
Lonely Island Classics, the best logo in the game.
Yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
great logo.
I liked the who was it that did the intro saying that you get a laugh before the movie even starts.
That's true.
Yeah.
So a big recommend for me. If this plays out in a theater, I'd go watch it with a crowd.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or rent it, have a whole group of people.
Yeah, it's a fun one.
And see how everyone feels about it out loud.
Totally.